The date is 12/26/2020. My name is Nug, and this is your 34 nightly recap. We're going to start out today talking about the Vikings and the Saints. The score was 52-33, and the Vikings put up no fight against the Saints, and most importantly, they didn't put up any fight against running back Alvin Kamara. He had 6 touchdowns. I don't know if that's a record or not, but it is an awful lot of touchdowns. You don't see that many from any position, let alone a running back, that much in the NFL. Vikings playoff hopes just got crushed last night. They are out. I don't know if there's anybody that follows me that's a Vikings fan, but if there is, that's the end of your road this year. Kamara ran for, like I said, 6 touchdowns, 27 attempts for 155 yards. They could not stop him. The Vikings had no passing game really, but if you run for 6 touchdowns, you don't have to. Brees threw 2 interceptions, no touchdowns, but all they had to do was hand the ball to Kamara last night. The Vikings stood no chance. Cousins, despite the Saints' onslaught of offense, even though his defense didn't hold up for him, Kirk Cousins had 291 yards for 3 touchdowns, and Dalvin Cook had a touchdown. But just wasn't enough. That Saints team is starting to look like they're coming together right at the right time. I mean, the Vikings aren't, like I said, they're out of the playoffs. They're not a playoff team, but um, we'll have to see what they do in the future. But um, but Kamara is that's the best I've seen him look all season. He's been more of a passing type player for most of the season, but Kamara, that I haven't seen him play like that. Even last year, he was not. That's probably his career game right there. I don't know how many times you're gonna see a running back, even like Derrick Henry. I don't think he's ever ran for 6. That is pretty good. That's the best I've seen. I know most people know I'm not a big football fan, but over the last year and a half, I've really kind of gotten into NFL pretty hard. So yeah, the Saints are looking good rolling into the playoffs. The Lions are playing today. I'm recording this kind of late. It's 3 o'clock right now. I'm watching. I've seen the score. They're getting blown out by the Bucks. We'll talk about that tomorrow. Now let's move on to some NBA Christmas Day. I was able to watch 3 out of the 5 games because I don't have ESPN. But that first game, the Pels Heat, Zion did well with 32 and 12 rebounds and 1 steal. Ingram had 28, but the real issue for the Pelicans that game and why they didn't play as well as they did the first game is Lonzo had 20. Lonzo had 6 points and 6 assists on 25% field goal percentage. That's not gonna get it done. Lonzo has to make his shots for them, and if he doesn't, it's not gonna end well for them. I unfortunately don't have the Heat stats, but I know Adebayo had like 29 and 12, which is going to be good for them. If Adebayo can do that, they're going to be doing really well. Hero at point hasn't been that bad this season. I don't mind that for Miami. It's good to have Hero out there in the starting lineup, and then you have Dragic off the bench. Dragic's been doing fairly well for them, about 20 a game. He looks back to his former self. He had kind of regressed a little bit at the start of the season last year, but he's back to his ways. I've seen he had a highlight layup. I don't. It was kind of just a floater, like a Derrick Rose kind of thing, but it's good to see Dragic playing well. He's never really been, besides last year, in a situation where he can be highly competitive on a team that goes deep, being on the Suns for most of his career, but that's good. And Tyler Hero looks like he's taken another step. I think he's 15 a game. That's not bad. Duncan Robinson had a really good game, 23. Almost set the Christmas record for 3 pointers. He had 7, which is a previous record. I don't know who it's held by. Maybe it's like Clay or Kobe or somebody. I'm not sure. I think it's probably Kobe. I think Kobe hit that 7. But um, yeah, but Duncan Robinson was really good for them yesterday. Now let's move on to the Warriors and Bucks. As most people know, I follow the Warriors heavily, and I'm gonna explain why. For one thing, I'll start with the Bucks. The Bucks had one of the best 3-point games I've seen out of them ever. Middleton was just hitting everything. I mean, even Portis and DJ Wilson were hitting threes off the bench. I was just thrown. Um, and guys like that, just the Bucks and Giannis does what he does. But even that was a Middleton night. Middleton showed why he can be at times the second guy on a team. He's a what was it 50-40-90 guy? Yeah, 50-40-90. shooting guy, which 53 point from the field percentage in free throw. For those who don't know, that's what the 90 the free throw and the others. But but not Cousins. Middleton had a really good night. I don't know if I've seen him play that well. He has those occasionally, so I expect him to have probably a down game next game. But that really showed that the Bucks are a top seed right there, beating down on the just not. They have no chemistry on the Warriors whatsoever. It doesn't help that Wiggins and Oubre, who are supposed to help for the lack of Klay Thompson scoring, have went a combined, I think, um, somewhere around 14 for 56 in the last two games, which isn't going to get it done. I'm not happy with that. I also didn't like there was too much ISO ball yesterday. I hate that. That's not how the Warriors offense gets going. Warriors offense is a pass heavy offense. And that'll help when they get Draymond Green back either next week or the week after. I hope it's sooner than later. But at the same time, the Warriors did play the two best teams in the East. Anybody who's counting them out of the playoffs is a little bit quick yet. I'm not. I mean, I'm not going to be there for a while. You're going to have to really push me to say they're not going to make the playoffs. I think they can at least slide in the bottom two slots. I'm thinking that I had them rated as 4 on my podcast, but I think they'll get fifth seed as a high point for them. That's like I'm just predicting like they can the highest they can go is 5, and I think the lowest will go is 8. They're gonna make the playoffs. It's just a matter of when they can get the chemistry going, and that will be definitely helped when Draymond comes back. They need Draymond. He's a defensive anchor. He facilitates for them, and he pulls them together. Klay is going to hurt a lot. I like Klay. Klay's probably, I've said it before, my favorite player in the league. And without him out there, Klay has more issues because, for one thing, they can double team him because Klay's not out there and they don't have to stick with Klay. Um, and Wiggins and Oubre aren't showing they can hit threes, so that makes it even worse. And just Curry, Curry's defense has always been somewhat subpar. That's why Klay's there. Klay always takes the best point guard, the best guard, whether it be shooting guard or point guard. And they're gonna hurt this year. They're gonna struggle there. We'll see if they can pull it out. Wiseman has showed a lot of promise. I have him as, from what I've seen out of everybody, he's my early rookie of the year. He's had consistent. It's 2 games. We're talking a little bit early, but he's been consistently. He's got 18 and a half now because he had 18 this game and 19 the first game. And he's probably averaging around 7 boards and probably a block and a half, which is pretty good. Cody Zeller gives Jordan that in Charlotte, and he's been in the league for 7 years. So if this guy's already doing what decent mid-tier centers are doing, the upside for him is only going to just keep going up and up. I like Wiseman a lot. Ball's not helping the case to give him a run for his money. LaMelo's not playing well at all. 0 points if he's going to do that. But LaMelo's not playing. Let's not get into LaMelo today. Another game that happened yesterday was the Nets and Celtics. Kyrie and Durant connection just looks virtually unstoppable at this point. Kyrie has actually been more of a Batman at this point, but like I said, when he has somebody, he plays well when they're not looking at him. When he's the focal point of the offense, it's easier to shut him down because you can double him, but you can't double with Durant or Joe Harris out there. He's got a lot of pieces that just gives him one-on-one matchups that with his handles and his ability to dribble the ball, it just makes it easier for him to break down the defense when he's one-on-one with somebody, taking him to the net, and then he can either get the 37 points like he did last night or get 8 assists, which is he had 37, 8 points, and shot 62%. He had 2 deep threes that I knew were pretty well game enders right there, and right in the fourth. But yeah, Kyrie looks great. Durant's back to form with 29 points, 2 steals, and 56% shooting. And him and Kyrie are going to help each other because you can't leave either alone. So they're going to have a lot of one-on-one matchups because Harris is not a guy you can leave either. They've even got LeVert and Dinwiddie can hit the shot. I've seen a lot of DeAndre lobs between Durant and DeAndre, and then there was one yesterday where Durant passed it to Kyrie, and Kyrie threw the lob to DeAndre. So DeAndre's gonna be slipping in a lot for those just lob plays. Just what he did in the Clippers, just a little less intensive towards him. They were kind of focused on him in the offense in Clippers, and now he's just an accent piece for this Nets team. Um, on the flip side, Brown and Tatum had a fairly decent game. It just wasn't enough. Um, I didn't mind Tristan Thompson off the bench. I will say that before I list Brown and Tatum's stats. I thought he played well as their backup big for Tice. I think they've strengthened that position, but yet they didn't replace the starting position, so that's going to hurt them in the long run. Um, Brown had 27 points, 8 rebounds, and 1 block last night, and Tatum had 28. Now, in a lot of trades I've seen for James Harden, Brown has been a key piece in that when they've been talking specifically on the Celtics. I think that is a big mistake for anybody in Boston to think that because I think Brown's defensive side counteracts what Harden would bring offensively because Brown can give you 30 points as well. Now, I wouldn't trade Brown if they were willing to part with Kemba for Harden. I could see that more. But for them to get rid of Brown when he just puts up this production and his defensive side of the ball, he's always ready to go on defense, and he knows the offense. He's been there. They know what they get from him. I think it would be stupid for them to trade Brown. I think right now they've got a competitive roster. Maybe a few tweaks. If Ainge the GM, Danny Ainge hadn't messed up the Miles Turner trade, I think they'd be in a lot better spot. They lost Hayward anyway, so yeah, that's where Boston's at right now. Still put up a good game yesterday, but it wasn't enough. The Nets are just they're gonna steamroll a lot of teams. I can already see it. That team is built all around. I hope they do not trade for Harden either, because one thing Harden's been kind of he's trying to get out, but he has kind of soured my taste on him. I already didn't like him that much because he gets a ton of fouls, but yeah, I think both of these teams should leave him alone because the Nets have Dinwiddie and LeVert as a good bench duo. All right, let's move on to the Lakers and Mavs game. Lakers just did their thing yesterday. 22 and 10 for LeBron, 28, 8 and 2 steals for Davis. Harrell had 22 and 7 off the bench. The Mavs really had no center defense out there. At the end of the game, I didn't mind seeing Boban. Boban did help a little bit with that, but I didn't really see a lot of fight down low from the Mavs, which if you got Davis down there and you've got not really any direct person that can stop them. I like Dwight Powell, but he's not going to stop Davis a ton. They just ran through them like nothing. They were also getting a lot of threes because the closeouts were kind of weak on the Mavs. They were giving them too many steps. They were thinking they were going to drive, but they were just splashing quite a bit. Defense, for the Mavs, I did not like Brunson off the bench. I preferred Burke. Brunson just seemed he can't play like he did in college. I remember him in the Michigan championship game. He was floppy a lot. He likes to kind of flop and draw fouls, at least in college, but that crap doesn't fly in the NBA, especially with a guy at his size. So he struggled heavily, and I like Trey Burke. Trey Burke can hit the three ball a little more consistently, and he likes to play make. Although I did see one play where he held the ball for like 12 seconds, and that's not going to be good either. The Mavs and Luka, who had 27 and 7 assists, need Porzingis back quickly. That would really help them. We'll have to see what happens, but I like the Mavs long term, especially with Porzingis coming back mid-January. If he needs it, wait till February because they're thinking. Even Lucas said yesterday he's not worried about the MVP. He's worried about a championship, which I don't know if this roster is quite there yet. Richardson had 17 yesterday, which wasn't bad, and Trey Burke had 17. But I think they're missing a few pieces. They need to tune it up a little bit. I can see maybe 3 years out them winning. This year's going to be a little bit, but if they did it, wouldn't be that mad if the Mavs won. Luka's just he's that kind of player that it's in the cards in his future if nothing happens injury wise, and I hope that doesn't happen. Now, let's move on to the Clippers and Nuggets. Clippers beat the Nuggets 121 to 108. The main guys in the game for the Clippers, PG had 23 points, 9 assists, 57 on 50. Wow, on 57% shooting. Sorry about that. Batum had 13 points, 10 rebounds, and on 62.5 shooting. Batum has been a good pickup after he got away from Charlotte. That's really helped them just have another piece that's just going to get you just a little extra stats like rebounds and just stuff you need. And Leonard led the team with 21, 5 rebounds, and 7 assists, and 4 steals on 57% shooting. Kawhi had a good game. It wasn't Paul George this time, but Paul George was still there. He didn't totally disappear like last year. So that's looking good for the Clippers. Jokic on the flip side had 24, 9 rebounds, and 10 assists on 53% shooting. And Murray had a bounce back game with 23 points and 5 rebounds. Nuggets look good, but if they let both the opposing teams' best players get 20 points a game, they're going to struggle. I know Michael Porter Jr. has been said to have kind of weak defense, so we'll have to see if that plays into their future at all. The Nuggets, I feel like, are a couple years out because Porter needs to get better, and we need to see what Bobo can do. I was high on Bobo until I watched him the other day. Not that I'm not still high on him, but I see he needs like one more year. They're coming. They just need time. Jokic is like a fine wine. He just keeps aging better and better. Murray's going to get better. If Murray can get more consistent, they're going to be fine. And a guy like Bobo, whether he's bench or starting material, you can move him to the 4 and put Porter at the 3. That's going to be a decent squad in the future. I guess they did make Western Conference Finals, but I see that as their cap again if they can make it there. I don't see them as a championship NBA Finals contender. Now they're going to be good in the West. They're going to win a lot of games, but you can do that just like the Rockets and keep losing in the conference finals, and it's just not going to show a whole lot. But I like the Nuggets going forward. I don't know about this year, but then again, we're through. Most people have only played 1 or 2 games, so I guess I'm a little bit early on this. I mean, the Lakers last year didn't really. Well, it's kind of hard to judge stuff last year because of the bubble and everything, but like the Bucks had a really good regular season, and then the quarantine happened and things happened. But yeah, we'll have to see how everything keeps moving as we go forward. And I'll be back tomorrow to talk about today's games. So to go and get a little football in here. We've got 3 games on the slate today. So if you disagree with anything I said, feel free to go in the comments and just say what you think. And I'd just like to wish everybody a Merry Christmas. I know it's a little bit late. I was thinking about doing it yesterday, 2 days ago, and I forgot. But I hope everybody had a great Christmas. And if you'd like to, subscribe, drop a like, and thank you all for watching. Have a good day.